Welcome to another show of Celebrate Life. My name is Gary Carolis, and I'm your host. The focus of this program is to introduce to Vermont the amazing lives people have lived. Everyone has a story to tell, and all stories are worth celebrating. If you would like to be a guest on the show, or if you know someone who you think would like to be a guest, please write me at celebratelife0747@gmail.com. Now I'm happy to introduce our guest for today, Joe Carroll, who you may know on WCAX on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock, his Super Senior show. Great to have you here, Joe.
Well, thanks for having me, Gary.
And it's particularly great to have us celebrate your life after you've helped so many other people celebrate their life.
Wow, yeah, it's true. There's been so many people that, I think you mentioned it, over 700 super seniors.
It's amazing.
70 and above is where I go.
That's amazing.
So some people, when I call, they're like, well, I'm too young, I'm 71. I said, well, I'll call you Super Senior Junior.
Well, I want to get to that part of your life, but I also want to give you an opportunity to go back and talk about your life before you were doing Super Senior, when you were a little boy back.
Sure. I grew up in Rutland, 70 miles away from here or so. The youngest of three boys. My mom was a nurse, and my dad was a bank teller that moved up the chain a little bit through the years at the Rutland Savings Bank.
Oh, that's great.
World War II vet, came back in the Navy, served in the Pacific, got the GI Bill, I believe, that led him to go off to photography school.
Wow.
G. Stone School, I believe, in New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay.
I have his notes, which, I just, from his photography,
Wow.
I just can't get rid of it. And couldn't really make a living out of portrait photography in Rutland. There was a lot of competition, and he had a young family. I wasn't born yet. And that's when he went into the banking business. However, there was a darkroom in the house that was all dusty and so forth. And I was about 12 or 13, and I said, I walked in. I guess I didn't go in there at all beforehand. And cleaned it up and started taking pictures first, of course, and then developing black and white pictures.
Wow.
So I had a photo bug.
Wow.
Yeah.
From that early age. So his, what he thought would be his career became an interest of yours and became your career, actually.
I never thought of that. Yeah, it really is. I went to Mount St. Joseph Academy, which is the Catholic school in Rutland.
Yep.
It's still there. And it was the start of videotape, which you probably remember as the reel-to-reel with the black and white RCA camera, I think.
I've got many a reel from my father in those days.
And I wasn't really a good student, pretty average. And I tried to get into Rochester Institute of Technology to do photography. And they said, no, thank you. I was accepted at Lyndon State College. And I really enjoyed doing video. It was then at the point where there were one deck here, and you could edit back and forth. Wow. So, and it was just a wonderful time.
What was your major in school?
It was Bachelor of Science, and it was television production.
Wow, they have that major there. Wow.
It was really good because the meteorology department, which is many of our grads that you see on television were part of the program. So they got all that TV experience before they went on to make money.
Wow.
So, a lot of our Channel 3 meteorologists to this day are grads of Lyndon State.
Yeah.
So it's a symbiotic relationship. I was not on TV at Lyndon. I didn't have that kind of confidence. I became a videotape editor. First of all, I went to Channel 22 briefly, right out of college, as a production assistant, and I got called up to Channel 3, the big leagues of Vermont, right? Pay was much better, and the hours were much better, and I became a full-time videotape editor. So at the time, our bureaus, Jack LeDuc was in the Adirondacks, well known in New York.
Exactly.
And I would edit his tape. He would send it over either, it wasn't microwaved at the time, which means one deck here, playing it, and we would record it back in Burlington. That came later. He would put it into a bag and go to the ferry and give somebody $5 to bring it to Channel 3. So I would get the tape, and he would track on the phone. Eventually it got more sophisticated where he could work out of our bureau, and he never learned to edit, but so I would be the videotape editor for Plattsburgh, Rutland, Kathy Hughes, longtime Rutland reporter, and Tim Lewis in Montpelier.
Yes.
So it was all this coming in.
Wow.
Then I was like, I'm getting sick of being in this dark room and not seeing all these sites that I'm editing, and decided to go out in the field and become a photographer. Yeah. And then I...
So that means you go with a reporter?
Right.
And then as they're doing a story, whatever, you're taking...
I'm taking the pictures.
Yeah.
Then you get to a point where you're much older than the reporters and you give them ideas because you've seen it all.
Of course.
And then it came to a point where I'm like, why don't I try this? That was when I was 49, so call me a late bloomer.
You're a late bloomer.
And that's when Super Senior started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for, what, 14 years now?
14 years. I'm 63. How'd that happen, right?
Yep.
And I'm still doing it, of course. 15 years will be in November. As you mentioned, I believe 700 or so people.
Amazing.
And by that time, it would probably be about 750.
Wow.
And recently, I spoke to a group of folks and said that's like interviewing everyone in the village of Glover.
Right.
Yeah.
When you think about those interviews, do any stand out for you as like...
I knew you were going to ask that.
You did.
Yeah. So there's a couple, excuse me. One is my dad.
Really? You got a chance to interview? Fantastic.
Yeah. It was for Father's Day. And the producer at the station at the time was like, why are you going to do that? That's a little nepotism going on. She didn't say it that way, but I could tell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to interview my dad. He was a big golfer. And I went to Proctor Pittsburgh Country Club, which is outside of Rutland, and got him golfing with his buddies who were, at the time, they're in their late 80s. So they were, characters. And they're talking about hearing aids and all that.
Right.
And, excuse me, and I got him golfing, and I'm in the golf cart at the time. GoPros were coming out, so you could get video like that. And I followed him around, and I kind of teased it by saying, this is one of the hardest stories to tell. One of the hardest and the easiest, because Francis, and I called him Bats at the beginning because that was his nickname. That's for another day. And I said, is my dad. And then I went into old film of us. We had a putting green in our backyard.
Nice.
So he was a real avid golfer.
Yeah.
And I never beat him.
Really?
He's since passed away golfing. And I think I ended it with asking him, I said, did I disappoint you as a golfer? And he was, no. And for years, I couldn't watch that without crying.
Of course.
Yeah, and my mother was involved in the story too. So that was one that a lot of people, because everyone has a parent, right, or a dad.
Exactly.
Might not be in their life, but they have one.
Yep.
And my family was very good about, very stable. You know, sometimes I
Close
see
family.
these folks, what they went through, and I'm like, my life was pretty boring in a good way. You know, it was
right.
very consistent and all that. So one of my favorite, funniest ones was the Bills brothers. They're two lumber. They had a lumber yard in southern Vermont, and the town escapes me at the moment. But they were characters. They were, again, in their 80s, and they would play off each other. The lumber yard hadn't changed since the 40s, it looked like. And again, every story should have a tease or an element of surprise.
Yeah.
And this one was, well, there's another sign at the Bills Brothers business, and I tilted down to for sale. And they were selling the business and getting out of it.
Yeah.
It just had, stories can have like elements that are just everything works together. He played a trumpet in these at the end, and he had dust all over his face from the wood shavings.
Right.
So I played off Stardust because he was playing that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So you take a story and you move it, and you know, to get the most out of it, so to
Right.
speak. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my skills, I think, aren't. I'm not a great writer. I think what I do is make people comfortable.
Which is important. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I put a camera in someone's face this close.
Right.
They don't know me really. They,
Right.
you know, and sometimes they tell me things that they haven't even told their family yet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then it comes together.
And do you get feedback from them about what that show meant to them?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times the family, after, because they're in their 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds, will contact me and say, could you send me that video on a DVD or whatever? Because they have passed away and we want to play it at the funeral.
Nice. That's nice.
It's funny. We mentioned, you know, everyone has a story. Steve Hartman is on CBS, and he did a segment years ago, and he still has a segment called On the Road,
Right.
which Charles Carroll was
Right.
the first there with his Winnebago, and
Exactly.
Izzy Blackman was his cameraman, and they went out. What a life that must have been. Go all over the place.
Unbelievable.
So in the last 2 weeks, I've been called, you're kind of like that Charles Carroll guy. I don't know, because I'm old and fat.
Oh, that's good. No.
Or if it's,
Because you're helping people tell their story.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It really is a privilege to do this. Sometimes, you know, like last weekend, I really didn't have one set up, so I'm going through there. This one's more interesting than this one, and I'm calling, and they're like, no, or that sometimes happens too, when
Yeah.
they haven't talked to the family member, if it's email, and they get back to me and go, oh, he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So, but less and less, I think people know what I do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I would say Joe Carroll and that show, everyone in Vermont knows about it.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. But a lot more people do watch it or have seen it or know about it.
Yeah.
It was really exciting when someone's in their 20s and 30s who have seen it. And, oh, yeah, I heard that. Because you think of it as just old people watching old people. And I think one of the interesting thing about the segment is when you're in your 20s and 30s and you see these folks being interviewed, and I put up a picture of them in their 20s and 30s.
That's right.
They can relate.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
like, oh, wow, they were my age at some point too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story. What's it like, Joe, working in a TV station?
Well, I've only worked really in Vermont, so I can't compare it to Boston or New York. It was family-owned for the Martin family-owned Channel 3 for 50-something years.
Right.
And the economics of it is you can't have a TV station alone anymore. You have to have numbers to be able to deal with CBS, NBC, ABC contracts. So we're owned by Gray TV.
Yep.
They own at least 130 stations.
Wow. That's hard to wrap around.
And believe it or not, that's not the biggest. So
Really?
there's now a real trying to combine all these station groups, but that's beyond my pay grade. One thing that's really interesting is now my segments are being picked up by the Gray folks and putting it on other shows.
Really?
So there's this producer who happened to see my stories, and I'm in contact, and maybe about once every 2 weeks, Super Seniors goes on this show called Investigate TV Plus. So it's seen all over the country.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Now, your show has garnered some awards as well.
Yes, it's been 3 regional Emmys. Regional is New England.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nominated a few more times, but last year, goose eggs. So I'm hoping this spring that someone likes it because it gets judged outside of New England.
Really?
Right. So we don't judge ourselves. So it could go off to California.
Right.
And we judge stories that could come from Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what happens if you win an Emmy? Is there an award ceremony?
There is.
Yeah?
You go down and look at the high rises in Boston. You know, This is a big city. You dress up. I don't have a tux, and I've never done that, but it's a big deal. There's probably 600 people in a ballroom.
Wow.
You do a very short speech because if you go on, then the music comes
Gets
up.
louder and louder.
Yeah, we're not talking minutes either. We're talking seconds, which is fine. It's fine.
Do regional Emmy Award winners go on to be part of a national
That's a good question. No, they don't. The Edward R. Murrow Awards do. That's another category.
Okay.
So I've won a few there too.
Wow.
But I've others, as I mentioned before we went on the air, I've done a lot of interesting stories besides the Super Seniors. I've really seen Vermont.
Yes.
Every single bit of it. I've been to every single town in Vermont.
You have been? All 251?
There is now 252, isn't it?
with Essex Town, right.
Wow. I have, yeah.
Wow.
So I know where the bathrooms are and where you can get a cup of coffee.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It really is. It's a privilege to be able to get paid and see all these towns. And so sometimes I'm there not for good things either. It could be a homicide or other nefarious thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about writing any of this, like a book about my...
A lot of people have said that to me. I don't know where I would start and what it would consist of because everyone's would be 725 chapters. How would I put this into a book?
Right.
But definitely it's a thing to think about when I retire. So
But
don't know when.
take us back. I want to get a sense of what it's. I know that the news is put on every night. Well, what it's like to work in there.
It's changed. When I first started in 1985, There's Richard Gallagher had passed, Marcellus Parsons, Tony Adams, and Stuart Hall.
Yep, remember that.
We were pretty advanced. We played above our curve, whatever the word is, for market 93. There's about 200 markets. New York is 1, LA is 2,
Okay.
Chicago 3, on and on.
Okay.
So we're not at the end, but we're kind of in that middle area, Burlington, Vermont, Plattsburgh, New York. So when I got there were computers, there were still typewriters, but there was people smoking in the newsroom. It was much louder.
Is that right?
Oh yeah,
Huh.
yeah, you know, they have their computer and they're smoking away. And, Red Martin was the owner. He was an MIT grad, very smart. I don't think he knew my name for about 2 years. And he had a big cigar going all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We'd have staff meetings every 2 weeks where we would go to the old Radisson or other restaurants, and it would be a dinner. He would sit there and would ask the reporter questions. He'd have his sheets about, and he would drill them, like, what's the story about? Which it kept you on your toes. Now, I was a photographer. We had 9 others or so. Most of us were the paid audience because he didn't ask us questions. Right. So we're sitting there eating a meal, having a few drinks, and getting paid for it, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
About 1991, we had this thing called the Bicentennial Project, where we went on the road. And read, the station was doing quite well, and bought a satellite truck. I think CBS helped us out to pay for it, but it was a $500,000 TV studio on wheels.
With the big thing,
big dish
on the top.
And you could have 4 people working pretty comfortably inside there, editing and switching and just staying warm in a cold Vermont weather. However, you had to cable that out and put a camera wherever you wanted to be, so it could be January like today, and cabling out. So that we were the first station in northern New England to have a satellite truck. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Then we bought what's called a microwave truck, and maybe you remember seeing that. It was the one with the big pole.
Oh, yes.
And you had to worry about power lines.
Right.
So it's like, look up and live. And that both of those vehicles are no longer in use because we use now what's called cellular technology, cell boxes. They're this big, you can put it on your shoulder.
Wow.
They work beautifully until they don't. If you lose your signal, you could, because it's cell service.
Yeah.
So there's 6 little SIMS cards in there, 2 AT&T, 2 Verizon, 2 Sprint, or whatever they're calling themselves now. Constantly trying to find the perfect signal and then sending it back.
Wow.
So that's our world now. We have like 6 or 7 of those units to go live from. So you can go live now from inside our vehicles. So that's changed.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning it recently. I've been there 40 years, and so most of the reporters are in 23 to 27, and they all have their headsets on. They're typing away, and it's quieter than a library. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm kind of the old cranky guy that makes jokes and so forth, but they deal with me.
Yeah, they do. Well, you have 40 years in one place. That's an amazing thing in and of itself.
Yeah, it is. It's what, as I said, how did the time get to the point where it's been 40 years?
It's amazing.
Yeah, starting at 22 and now 63.
Wow. You've seen a lot of change.
I've seen a lot of change. I've seen people, this is happening with police, clergy, media. It's not that respect is, I don't know if that's the right word, but they don't look at the media like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And police and,
Yeah.
the world's a lot more edgy than when I first started.
Interesting.
Police and media, they would get along and, we would chat with them fine. Now it's, maybe a wave to the police.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't trust us.
Interesting.
So that's changed too, in the public, and rightly so in some cases.
Yeah, but I think that word trust, if you go back 40 years, in general, in society, I would say has come down a lot.
Right. Yeah.
On all the institutions.
Everything.
Yeah.
Maybe fire department's still doing fine.
Maybe.
In doctors.
I was going to say hospitals, yeah. Yep.
I don't know if you're aware of this, so I'm going to bring it up, but I'm dealing with cancer.
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, I was almost 2 years diagnosed with aggressive prostate cancer. That obviously changed my world.
Yes. How's it going?
Good. I'm in remission.
Beautiful.
It's cancer that unfortunately went to a bone, so it's the Joe Biden cancer.
Yes.
Almost exactly what he has. However, I'm trying to figure out if he has bones. Mine was just this little spot on my pubic bone, or if it's where it is, because it's never been detailed in the press. And then the Delbert guy that died a couple days ago,
Right.
he had aggressive prostate cancer. So it's been 2 years. I was on a news story when I found out with my UVM app.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, my chart.
My charts.
UVM, and there's the results right there.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
That was a difficult day, and I still had to finish the shoot.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
It was a 99-year-old guy, and he's complaining about his eyesight, and I'm saying to myself, I'm going to die, and you're 99 years old complaining about your eyesight.
right.
So, and the cell service was awful. I was in southern Vermont, 2.5 hours away,
Oh, Joe.
and called my primary. He was off, but his replacement for the day was like, well, prostate cancer is slow moving. Unfortunately, mine.
Was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been on, this is, I'm not breaking news here. I've been on Channel 3 with, you can quote me, talking about this with Darren Perrin and my doctor, radiologist about this. I think my primary, Dr. Beatty, saved my life because he checked under the hood. He did the digital check.
Yeah.
My PSA levels were pretty good.
Really?
He noticed there was a bump there. And that was in November. I didn't get into see a specialist until late February.
Wow.
And I remember him saying, oh, you're far ahead of the game. Well, he wasn't. Then he checked and my urologist apologized. Said, I am so sorry. I apologize for that. I'm like, well, don't put me in the ground yet.
Right. Right.
So I've been on Lupron, which is an infusion to keep my testosterone down.
Good. That's right.
And some other medication. So it's not curable, it's very manageable, as my oncologist says. So men, wherever the cameras, there we go.
Yes.
Go out, he moved it on me. Go out and get checked, and don't just rely on your PSA levels.
Yeah, so what else could one do? If your PSAs are good, they're low.
Yeah, I think every man of a certain age, I was young for prostate cancer, is the you know what, up the
Oh yeah.
you know where,
Yes.
and check.
Yes.
Just don't rely on your PSA levels. That is my opinion.
That's a good.
It's controversial because some doctors will say men will not go in if you're going to do that to them, and then they're going to forget or not get other things checked.
Right.
I'm like, what women go through.
Right.
You know.
Was there any other symptoms that you picked up? No.
No. I did, so in November, as I mentioned, I went to the doctor and he found that bump. In February 1st, I went with a friend to a safari in Kenya. Safari with a camera, not the booms. And you're sitting on a Range Rover, Land Rover, forever, and it's going bump, 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 bump. And I felt a lot of pain down there, sharp pain. And I had a feeling that it was going to be something, but I didn't realize it was going to be so aggressive. And I was smug because my dad lived to be 90, my mom 91. So of course you're going to live that long, right? Especially with the technology.
Yeah.
So I'm in a much better place than I was a year or two ago when I thought, I'm not going to buy anything because I'm going to be dying or get everything together. Went through radiology for the prostate and the bone, was a couple zaps. But I went up at UVM in the morning, usually around 8:30. Brought me in. I had my bladder full because they had to separate it from the prostate.
Wonderful.
And you just sit there and just don't move for 8 minutes or so and dress and leave.
Jeez.
And the majority of my coworkers had no idea I was going through that. I let them know when I was in remission. I said, well, I got some news for you guys. So.
Wow.
But as you can see, I'm still here.
You look great. You look fantastic.
Yeah.
Now you have two brothers. I'm sure you gave them a quick warning.
Yeah, and when you hear that your cancer is not curable, my brother Brian was with me, and he and I just turned white, and then he went down with me to Dana-Farber because I wanted to have an expert opinion because they're some of the best in the world, right?
Right.
And find out what UVM was going to be doing was the right thing to do. They agreed. And but it was the first time that I heard stage 4 cancer. As we know, stage 4 is that awful word.
Right.
And he kind of looked at me and could tell I was like, wow.
Yeah.
He goes, well, it's just a speck on your bone. It's not like it's gone to your organs. So as I tell people, my brother and I then went to, he was pretty positive about things, about managing this. And we went to a Red Sox game, or walked from our hotel to that, and kind of drank bourbon. I had to stop pretty much drinking too because of the meds and so forth.
Yeah, right.
But it's it's part of living, I guess. Is everyone has a story, and many times it's not the greatest thing.
Exactly. And we're renting space, aren't we, in this life?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've filmed a number of people that were at that point where their life was coming to an end.
Yeah. And maybe I can't remember his name right now. It's Bill. He was a beekeeper. The Rutland milk goats.
I know who you're talking about too. Yeah.
He decided, because he had cancer, to go through the I don't know the right terminology. Doctor's assisted suicide is what we used to call it.
Right.
Death with dignity, whatever you want to call it. So I'm filming this or videotaping what he's going through. And Darren Perrin was the reporter and says, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fine."
Yeah.
But so I have seen some stories like that, and for super seniors and other things. But as I said, it's just I'm in a better place, and I'm really trying to push people to get checked.
That's right. Well, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'll come loud and clear through our interview today.
Well, good. Yeah. Yeah. So what else you want to?
Well,
I should ask you questions. I do that. How long you been doing this show?
I wanted to give you an opportunity to go back to Joe as a young boy
Okay.
and with the two other brothers.
Yeah.
And what life was like for you as a young boy. Did you go on family vacations?
Family vacations was, looking back, we had everything. We weren't rich by any means. We had a Plymouth Valiant, one car. My mom would use it to go to work. She was in the 11 to 7
A nurse,
p.m.
Right?
Yeah, so she was in the emergency room or intensive care. Come home around 7.
Wow.
We lived close to the hospital. I'd be eating my cereal, and she would talk about someone who died. So you get an interesting view of life and death when you're eating your Quisp cereal.
Oh, God. That's tough work she had.
She was.
I mean,
She was. So I did a super senior on her too, which was very funny. It was after my dad died, and I was a little worried that I was like taking advantage of my mom, because we went down to the cemetery and saw my dad's stone. And she said, "Well, Bass, I miss you. I'll see you soon," or something like that. I'm like, "Eesh, do I put this on TV?" But the funny part of the story was my mom. This is when doctors weren't in the hospital overnight. The nurses had to call in.
Really?
The doctors. This is in Rutland. Yeah.
Yeah. Rutland Medical School.
Yeah, Rutland Hospital at the time.
Right.
So my mom would say to some of the nurses, "Don't be willy-nilly and like, well, doctor, I'm so sorry to wake you up. I think, just..." So my mom was like, "No, you say, doctor, you need to come in because..."
Right.
And my mother, I don't know if I could swear, but I'll call it a different thing. My mother, an S list, right? Mm-hmm. I called it the fecal roster for the doctors. So she had the doctors who were on that list. So she was a tough woman. She was funny, very religious, Irish Catholic. Her mom was from Ireland. My mom had 8 other siblings.
Wow.
And my grandfather was from Rutland. He went to Springfield, Mass., and that's where he met my grandmother, Nora Fitzgerald, and was working at Indian Motorcycles.
Really?
Yeah, until they went belly up in Springfield. I don't know if they went up belly up all over. So he came back to Rutland and worked for the Public Works Department, digging ditches. But very smart guy. I know him, remember him just a little bit. Mm-hmm. I do remember my grandmother and walking downtown to Rutland and with her very Irish accent. I didn't realize until about 10 years ago that she died when I was like 6, that she died at my house. My mother was taking care of her as a nurse. Yeah.
Wow.
So she died at the house. So, this living and dying seems to be, happening. But my brother, Brian, lives in the Northeast Kingdom. He lived in Virginia for a long time. That's where he met his wife, Ann. He was a special ed person and superintendent in the Northeast Kingdom. And my brother Steve has been working at Goodrow Lumber in Killington for more than I've been at Channel 3.
Wow.
Very handy guy with tools and so forth.
Wow.
I'm 9 years younger, than my brother Brian. Steve is 5 years. So I was kind of on my own as a kid, because they were doing their own thing.
Yeah. Did you have any dreams of what you wanted to do when you grew up when you were a little kid?
There's this photo of me. I went to catechism, which is because I went to public school, which is the Catholic education, religious. And there's this little sticker that says press.
Press? No kidding.
Yeah.
As a little kid.
As a little kid, I was probably about 7 or so, and there it is.
Wow.
So I pulled that out, and it's funny. Picture's pretty blurry, but you could definitely see press.
Oh, that's wild.
So I've always been interested, and I blame my mother for this. Years later, when she get me National Geographics, and I would go through them.
All the pictures.
And I love traveling. I've been to about 30 countries, and she'd be like, "Why are you going off to China?" I was like, "Mom, it's your fault." Remember those yellow magazines?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. My dad was, as I said, a photographer. He was funny, more quiet than my mom, I think. More circumspect about dying and the afterlife. My mom was Stairway to Heaven. She's going to be seeing her parents and her siblings and so forth. They both golfed. So my childhood was lovely.
Yeah.
Next door neighbors, all knew each other. Kind of Mayberry.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have role models is one way of saying it, but people in your life that mentors, people that gave you something that you didn't have that you wanted that helped you move forward?
Yeah, I think teachers, right? And that's the case with most of us. There was this high school teacher named Mr. Fox, and he came to MSJ, Mount St. Joseph Academy, and he was like the first preppy teacher. He drove a yellow Volvo. His wife was Macy, and he wore tweed. But he was really into mountain climbing and outdoor stuff. And he started, I don't know how he convinced MSJ to do this, a class called Mountain Classroom.
Wow.
Yeah, so we went off to, we were supposed to go off to California, but the avalanches were really bad. That was Sierra Nevadas, I believe. And that didn't happen. So we went to the eastern side of the United States and went to states I hadn't been to because I rarely had left Vermont or New England, to Virginia, North Carolina, West Virginia. First time I ever saw a kayak was at Harper's Ferry, West Virginia, going down.
Yeah.
Is that the Shenandoah?
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm like, what is that thing? And we did some rock climbing, badly, outdoor survival stuff. So that was like, wow, that's one of these guys that I really remember. So about 5 years ago, I looked him up, Googled him, and he became a ordained minister, not Catholic, but Episcopalian, and ran a school called Stewart Hall in Virginia.
That's fun. Ironic.
Unfortunately, he died of cancer in his probably in his late 50s.
Oh, jeez.
But he was one of those teachers. Another one was, sometimes I kid about, getting a little medal for participation. But then I look back at it, and in 6th grade, there was a teacher named Mary Hoth. And I got an award for Best Reader B group or something, not A, but I thought that was the greatest thing that I could read. Because, as I said, I wasn't a great student. Confidence issues and wore thick glasses. Got them in 2nd grade when I guess I couldn't see the board.
Wow.
And it was the biggest thing. And then I started reading. But the first novel that I finished was Stephen King's Christine. And then I was hooked on reading, which is, I don't know, page turner there.
It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, and I like still photography still. And when I go out on these adventures, I really do like to take pictures. Not of myself that much, maybe a little bit, but I'd show that I'm there, but just the culture of their
So have you ever thought of an exhibit of your photos?
I did have one when the art hop happened, but I thought of my stuff as like pretty basic. So,
I find I take pictures, but there's people who have an eye for real pictures, and I have a sense that you're that kind of person. It's an art form.
Well, you have to anticipate the action, and that's the same way with news photography. You know they're going to be coming at you.
Right.
Maybe get ahead. This is when I went. Here's an old man story covering Bill Clinton when he was running president. And we're in New Hampshire. Bridget Berry Caswell, who was a reporter at Channel 3. Another long day. Bill Clinton's going through and he's eating all the food. Was like the McDonald's and all that in downtown Manchester. But I knew to get ahead, everyone was just following him like they're stuck to him like glue. And so I anticipated the action and got him coming at me. I had this great shot.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's an artist's eye right there. That's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an artist, but somebody anticipates in visuals and so forth. But it's important for TV. Shoot and move.
Shoot and move.
Yeah. Get ahead of the game. Know what's going to be happening. Yeah.
Wow.
And sound is really important with TV too, because a lot of people, especially first starting out, they don't think of how important sound is in telling the story. And that's where, I think my super seniors stand out, because I have that history of being a videotape editor. And even them breathing, have the microphone and they're just like, just adds the story. It shows either that they're tired or they're frustrated with me being there.
Yes. Or even I've seen some of your shows where you could see they're grieving over the loss of a partner, and there's sound to that too.
Yeah, and I'm also good about pauses too. So maybe if they're not talking, I keep that up. There's a fine line about going too long and taking advantage of that moment.
Right. Right.
But if you keep it up for maybe a few seconds and they're like this, and then you track something, and you move on from there, that's good.
Have you ever taught, Joe? Your craft is, you have...
Maybe that's in my next life.
Okay, well, that's one of the questions I would ask is, what haven't you done that you want to do still?
I'm not sure. So, when I retire, and I don't know when that's going to be, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, healthcare is kind of important for me right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, and that's, teaching for media right now is really in decline. Young people aren't going into it because there's not the kind of jobs, the pay's not very good. It's not like when I first started out. And I'm going to boast a little bit. I was just I was inducted into the Vermont Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
You were fantastic.
In November.
Wow.
So I had to do a big speech up there. That one they gave me 10 minutes. And I told I told a coworker of mine who also was Shelley Allen, inducted a few years ago. She was 40 years plus as a camera woman photographer, which is it's like there's only one woman in the country that had a longer career, or maybe Shelley had longer. But I said, well, if I go longer than 10 minutes, just do like the wave at your Fenway. So they didn't do that, but she did tell me afterwards I went 10 minutes and 22 seconds. Time is very important in TV news.
Yes, it is.
So I ended off with the piece, and I want to thank, because there was Rising Star Awards too for the young people that's relatively new that we've awarded in the Vermont Association of Broadcasters, because their world is a lot different than when I first started out. They have to do much more. They're smarter. So I did acknowledge that.
That's great.
So back to teaching, if there's something out there.
So that Lyndon State College that you went to, is there a program still there?
I believe so. It's not as strong as it was when I was there. I think they still do. They do, I know, meteorology. And Jim Cantori.
He came from, I know.
He was a year, I think, ahead of me.
Did Gary go there?
He did.
I thought so.
Ian Oliver, who worked at Channel 3, is now at Fox Weather, and he's doing quite well, Lyndon grad. Ian is a great guy. He had a segment called Skiing with Ian on Channel 3. And like a week ago, he came to Sugar Bush in the Fox vehicle and did segments. And Anson Tebbets, his Secretary of Ag, was doing, I think it was like donuts and pickles and maple syrup. I never could figure that one out. Segments.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I hear of Ensign on, he does a bird show.
He's been doing that forever.
TV, yeah.
He used to do it with Brian Pfeiffer. I don't think he's doing it with that.
I don't remember who else he does it with. Yeah.
So how many segments have you done with
We've done, we're approaching 70, I think. So we're a tenth of your 700.
Yeah, and why did you want to do it? I'm turning the tables here because that's what I do.
Okay, so I'll answer that. I was reading so many obituaries of people that I said to myself, I wish I got to know them while they were alive.
That's really
So
good.
why are we waiting to read about them when we could actually be interviewing people who are still vital and active and celebrate their life while they're alive? So I called CCTV and I said I pitched my idea and they loved it. And we're in season 6 right now. And it's been a wonderful thing. And like I said in my introduction, everyone has a story to tell.
Right.
And they're wonderful stories.
It's very important you said that because so many people said that to me too. It's like, I'm so happy you're showing these people while they're still with us. But it also shows that seniors have a lot to give.
Absolutely.
It's not just sitting in your lazy boy watching MeTV and Gunsmoke or something.
Yeah.
That, especially now, with Vermont being, I believe, the second oldest state in the country. Maine, I think, is still first, but we're up there.
We're up there.
And we have a lot of talent, and a lot of educated and smart people, and good people. Farmers, I love doing super senior segments on. They have no airs. They're usually very funny, and they have a great story to tell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I never met a farmer I haven't liked.
And it's very straightforward. It's not no smoke and mirrors.
No.
You know, it's straight up.
No, it's not
Yeah.
trying to polish me or give me the BS. Yeah.
So in ending the interview, is there any piece of wisdom you want to share with people, or any life motto that you live by that you would like others to know about?
Well, I'd like to think I live by this motto, especially after my cancer scare here, is live every day like it's your last.
That's a great, yes.
I'm definitely much more easygoing about things. I think maybe other people would disagree about what's happening. Just live your life the best you can.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right.
On
Joe,
that matter.
On that matter, thank you very much. It's
Thanks
great
for having
you on
me.
the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care.
Fresh out of then Lyndon State College, Joe Carroll's journalism journey began at WVNY. Not long after, he made the move to WCAX. At just 22, the Rutland native became a Channel 3 News tape editor. That was in 1985, 40 years ago this summer.
I was 22 years old, now I'm 62.
So, you know, it is 40 years. Hard to
You
believe.
don't look a day over 64.
Thank you, Darren. From a guy who's 70.
Joe's known for his practical jokes, a prankster who's gotten most of us with his shenanigans. But he takes the job seriously. He's now the station's chief photographer.
Thanks, guys.
Joe's covered presidential candidates,
Okay, we'll do it while we walk.
Thank you guys so much.
the Pope, but he's most known for his profiles.
What are you doing there?
I'm going to talk to you. What do you think I'm here for?
I don't know what you're here for.
Of our super seniors, older Vermonters doing extraordinary things.
So you built this track?
Pretty much.
This is the 1824 building.
The weekly segment earned Joe 4 Emmy Awards
This is nothing.
and several Edward R. Murrow Awards, too.
So it's going to get a little bumpy.
His work covering Tropical Storm Irene with former reporter Jennifer Costa won the station a Murrow as well.
Radios are good.
And his eyes and ears allow Joe to capture excellent images and sound that take the viewer with him to the story, like his Murrow-winning piece on the New Haven train depot's move.
Fingers doing okay.
Whoa, that wind.
Earning your pay today.
Like the depot, Joe goes the extra mile.
Just a normal life that everybody has.
And sometimes over the edge to tell a story. He captures triumph and tragedy.
Just lost her a month ago.
Peggy was my hero, girls into the very end, to where she just could not do it anymore.
Stories that tug at your heartstrings.
I guess maybe that's what life is. Taking a chance.
There are a lot of nice places, but there's nothing like Vermont.
Right there's where I lived for 20 some odd years.
A storied career, a friend and mentor to many,
Pretty good style. Probably could use a haircut.
Yeah. What advice would you give people?
Don't stop moving.
and a face only a mother could, well, that we all love. And we do. We love you, bud. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor.